Lions preseason has officially come to an end after another solid performance against the Steelers. So if there was any questions about the Lions after the week 1, that first game against the Giants, I think the last 2 games have officially put all that to bed. I apologize I didn't do a recap last week for the Chiefs game, because literally as soon as the game was about to end last week, that was when Space Mo Ferrari 248 showed up and we started the whole collab thing together. So yeah, pretty much the recaps last week took a back seat with the collabs with him. But yeah, now this week we're back to our regular scheduled programming. And yeah, the Lions, they were pretty impressive. I mean, the second and third stringers have been pretty impressive against the Chiefs starters, only allowing Mahomes and company to score only 6 points. And this week, well, it kind of went about as well as you expect when the Steelers had their starters in, including both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields still taking turns, because, yeah, that QB competition is still up in the air between Fields and Wilson on who gets the starting job, since it's still an open competition up in Pittsburgh. Even though it's probably already set in stone. I think it's going to be Wilson, but I do think Fields could get started by midseason if Wilson struggles. But yeah, just overall, a lot of things to be impressed about. I mean, even the Steelers got off to that hot start early on, but then the second quarter on, the Lions took complete control. As from the second quarter on, Detroit would end up outscoring Pittsburgh 24-3. Just, yeah, Hendon Hooker has continued to be impressive so far in training and preseason. Even Sion Vaki had some moments. Jamar Jefferson had some good moments there too. A lot of things to like about it. Even Alexander Jr. got some moments along with Felton and Williams. Some pretty good moments there too. Even on defense, some great moments, some good plays from guys like Mekhi Wingo, even Uku. Even Jake Fromm, who was just brought the practice squad brought onto the roster a couple weeks ago, had some moments too. Like, honestly, Jake Fromm was pretty good in this game to where I'm already sold. I honestly say keep Fromm and Hooker as the QB depth and send Sudfeld's ass out of here, because Nate Sudfeld fucking sucks ass. Like, to say Sudfeld sucks is an understatement. Just, offense was pretty good, second and third stringers. They've hung well in. Like, the Lions, they did a really good job for not playing their starters at all throughout preseason, a lot of people question if the Lions would play starters at all, but hey, if it works for the Lions, keeping them healthy, then why change something that works? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah, a lot of positives to take out of the game, especially the crowd. Like the crowd, Ford Field was packed for the one and only home preseason game for the Lions for preseason. Yeah, especially when they sold out on standing room tickets. Like the way the crowd was and how packed it was, you could have easily mistaken it for a regular season game, or hell, maybe even a playoff game. Okay, maybe the playoff game part was a little bit of a stretch, but I think you get the point. Like, it was just so loud, you wouldn't even know it was just a preseason game. Like in terms of the Lions using preseason as just testing and tuning up for the regular season, for the run they're going to go on this year all the way to Super Bowl 59 up in New Orleans. And not only was it player evaluation, seems like this one home preseason game, the fan base decided to use this as their tested tune-up session for the regular season, for anybody that wants to come in here and get their ass handed to them on a silver platter. But yeah, just, a lot of things to like, especially, there's a lot of expectations on the Lions this year, especially with that cover that Sports Illustrated did with the Lions on it, even Sports Illustrated picking the Lions to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's why I said this year's Super Bowl is the only goal this year. Anything short of a Lombardi trophy is a failure this year. It's Super Bowl or bust. And I think this Lions roster is set up pretty well to go all the way to that promised land. Like, I'll say it's here, the Lions, I think, definitely have one of the best rosters in the league. Like, it's up there with the likes of the Chiefs, the 49ers, and, the Ravens and Bengals. That's up there. And even the Texans. Definitely a lot of things to like out of that. Who cares about the Bears going 4-0 in preseason? I mean, I remember the last time the Lions went 4-0 in preseason, and what happened after that is stuff we do not talk about here. So yeah, a lot of positive take out of it. The Lions end preseason off pretty strong. A lot of things to be positive about heading into the regular season. A lot of momentum. And a lot of the starters are healthy for the most part. I mean, any injuries we had from Terry Arnold and Jahmyr Gibbs and Penei Sewell, they're not really major, and they'll all be healthy and ready to go in time for week 1. Plus, the Lions weren't going to play the starters at all in preseason anyway, so they'll have all the time in the world to get healthy. But yeah, really this year, the only thing that can stop the Lions this year are the Lions themselves. If they can stay healthy, if the Lions stay healthy and they do everything, they play their cards right, not only are we looking at back-to-back division titles, but taking that one step further and finishing the job we didn't finish last year. A lot of positives to take out of this game. But yeah, anyway, football season's back. It's regular season time, and you know what that means. Time to bring the belt back. And in 2 weeks' time, Los Angeles, you can acknowledge your reigning, defending, undisputed NFC North heavyweight champions of the world, the brand new Detroit Lions. And one more thing, Rams fans, before I show my playoff predictions real quick. Kirby Joseph still did nothing wrong. It was a clean hit on Higbee. You Rams fans are just as big a crybabies about Kirby Joseph as Vikings and Giants fans are. And if Matt Stafford has a problem with how Kirby Joseph plays, well, Matt Stafford can go cry to the NFC North banner hanging up in the rafters at Ford Field. Anyway, now that I addressed that out, and Rams fans, there's a lot for me to talk to you about in 2 weeks. Because Rams fans, you're all mine for 2 weeks. And by the time the 2 weeks are up, you're gonna fucking hate me, I guarantee it. Anyway, with that out of the way, and with that teaser out of the way for what's coming up these next 2 weeks, once we get to Rams Hate Week and NFL season begins, let's take a look at my playoff predictions entering 2024. So, for the playoff predictions, starting off on the AFC side, which is tradition for me to do this every year and for preseason, for the last preseason game for these predictions. So, for the AFC, well, the West, it's pretty straightforward. The Kansas City Chiefs win it once again. I mean, they're the back-to-back reigning Super Bowl champions, and they're the favorites to possibly go for a three-peat. So I got the Chiefs winning the West. The North, it's pretty tough. It's a toss-up. But I think Cincinnati will bounce back, and I think they'll take the AFC North from Baltimore. AFC South, I have it going to the Houston Texans once again. I think it's Houston's division to lose. And in the AFC East, I think Buffalo lost enough talent in the offseason to where I think Miami can take advantage and get far enough ahead to where I think Miami can win the AFC East this year. And in terms of the wild cards, I mean, the first two are pretty easy. I have Baltimore and Buffalo in on wild card, and the last one was a bit of a toss-up between a number of teams. But I have a bit of a gut feeling that I think the LA Chargers can get back in the playoff race. I think that team's going to go a lot of positive directions now that they have a real adult at head coach with that moron Brandon Staley gone. And I think Jim Harbaugh might be the coach that needed to help the Chargers get back to the promised land. Now to the NFC side of the playoff picture. Well, the NFC West and North are pretty straightforward. I have the West once again going to the San Francisco 49ers. And for the North, I think Detroit will once again win the North for the second year in a row. Even though this year it's going to be a lot harder than it was last year since Green Bay and Chicago did improve a lot during the offseason. Vikings are going to be pretty bad this year. They're banged up and they're already going to throw in the towel in the season. They ain't doing anything with Sam Darnold. Trust me on that. NFC East, I'm going to once again go with the pattern that we will have a different division winner in the NFC East. This time, I'm going to say Philadelphia takes the East in this year. And for the NFC South, the South will once again be a total crapshoot. And whoever wins that division wins it by default, since pretty much everyone in that division sucks ass. But this year, I have a feeling that Atlanta is going to make their way back into the playoffs. A lot of new things in there. Kirk Cousins, will bounce back and have a bounce-back season. So I got Atlanta winning the South. And for my wild cards, I'm going to be boring, and I'm going to say Green Bay, the LA Rams, and the Dallas Cowboys make it in on wild card. You got the 3 teams I can't stand the most in on wild card. Yeah, I'm such a biased Detroit fan. Am I right, folks? But yeah, anyway, that wraps up the playoff predictions. That wraps up the preseason recaps. Anyway, on to the regular season in 2 weeks. Play ball.